Good evening and welcome to the 2022 Joliet Junior College Students Awards Show. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Suzanne Gorgas and I'm the director of the Laura A. Sprague Gallery at Joliet Junior College. I also teach drawing, painting, and 2D design. Well, we look forward to this exhibition as it highlights the work of our own students. This year's exhibition is even more special as it is our first in-person exhibition back in the physical gallery space since the height of the pandemic, when we chose to move our exhibitions to the virtual format for the safety of all involved. We are so thrilled to finally be back in person and have you all here tonight. This is an important show for us and for our students as it allows our students to engage in the professional practices of preparing work for exhibition and showing it, as well as helping them to connect with the art world professionals outside of the college by inviting a new juror to select the work each year from a wide range of professional artists, curators, and gallerists. This year's juror is Joyce Palance, who is joining us virtually tonight from her home in New York. Joyce selected not only the 48 pieces that make up the show from a total of 114 submissions, but also the first, second, and third place prizes, as well as 7 honorable mentions. We will hear from her about these selections in a moment, but first, a little bit about Joyce herself. Joyce Palance is a painter working primarily in oil paints. She was born in New York City in 1965. She attended Wesleyan University and received a BFA from the Fashion Institute of Technology. She has exhibited internationally and has worked in many private and corporate collections. Palance is represented by the Judy Ferrara Gallery in Three Oaks, Minnesota, Hemley Gallery in Passaic, New Jersey, and the Elephant Room in Chicago. She also shared her work with us in our college in a virtual exhibition and artist talk earlier this spring. I know many of us got a chance to speak with her and see her work then. Joyce, I'm going to turn the floor over to you.
Hi, thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? I just want to make sure. Yes?
Yep,
okay.
good.
Wonderful. Thank you. I had a lot of technical difficulties getting in, and I'm on my phone, so I apologize if anything's weird or echoey. Hi, I'm Joyce Palance, and I'm a visual artist. I paint. I work in oils primarily, and I do figurative and landscape work. And I was invited to jury the show by Suzanne Gorgas, and I'm very grateful to her. It was a wonderful experience. And I'd also like to thank Suzanne and Chuck for being so supportive of my work and inviting me to have my exhibition earlier this year. I had a great time jurying the students' work, and a lot of it was really wonderful. I spent a lot of time, many hours with your work, and I really wanted to give you careful consideration. And it was very hard to choose. And so I appreciate the challenge. And I want you to know that I really tried not to penalize anybody for the quality of the digital image. I know as students, sometimes you're not able to get professional photographs and that kind of a thing. So I did my best with the images I have that I was given. And I am aware that sometimes an image looks different in person than it does digitally. And I have sometimes seen work in shows that looked amazing digitally and not so great in person. So obviously I don't know how your work looks in person, but I did the best I could with the digital images I had. And that's what I based my awards on. And if something was a little bit unclear, but I kind of got an idea, or I could see it wasn't a perfect photograph, I didn't hold that against the students. So when I juried the artwork, I tried to pick a variety of pieces that would represent the diversity of the types of work the students were doing. I wanted to set aside my own personal preferences. I'm an expressionist painter. My work has a lot of energy and movement, and it's very intense. And that's the kind of artwork I'm most drawn to. But in this case, I really made an effort to think about the different genres the students submitted the work in, including drawing, photography, digital art, and graphic design. I really tried to think about what was strong work in those genres and how well it was executed, regardless of whether or not it appealed to me personally. So if any of you students become professional artists, one of the first things you'll learn is that art is so subjective. One person will love your work, the next person won't like it at all. And over the years, I've tried to learn not to take that personally. Sometimes I do take it personally still because I'm human. But I hope if I didn't choose a particular piece that the artist won't take it to heart. So now I'd like to discuss the work in which I've given awards, to which I've given awards. I initially narrowed it down to about 10 pieces, which I thought were particularly strong. And it wasn't easy to choose between them. I did feel that all those pieces were worth noting. And that's why I asked Suzanne if I could give some honorable mentions, because any pieces that were in my top 10 really could have been in the top 3. And it was just a matter of my having to choose. And like I said, the choosing was very difficult. So I'd like to discuss the award winners particularly. So my first place award went to Yulia Nimmer for, it's a blue piece. It didn't have a title in the submission that I saw, but that was my favorite in the show. And I loved it so much. So Yulia, congratulations. This piece has so many wonderful things going for it. Aside from being beautiful to look at, it's extremely well composed. It's bold graphically and simultaneously has these quiet areas of softness and intimacy that drew me in as a viewer. And it does what some of the best art does, which is it suggests multiple things. You know, it's a piece that one could spend a whole lot of time with and see different things every time one looks at it. It had a real sense of mystery to me, and that let me put my own interpretation into the work. I thought it was a close-up of a section of fabric, but for me, it also evoked a person with crossed arms and legs, a person who was perhaps hiding or drawing into themselves, perhaps even cowering in fear. There's an emotional element in that, which transcends the subject matter, and this makes it so much more powerful than just a depiction of a section of fabric. The dark background also, there's a very dark sort of blackish background, which is, it serves so well to offset the main figure of fabric. And there's even a little subtle contrasting of textures in the lower left corner, which gives the piece even more depth. And the last thing I'll say about this piece is the color choice is wonderful because it's so moody. The composition and the subject is so moody, and the choice of blues with enhanced by just those little bits of brown really create and enhance the mood of the piece. So congratulations, Celia. It's just extremely well done. The award for second place goes to Anna Richardson for a really lovely drawing. I want to say to Anna directly that you draw beautifully. You have a natural fluidity of line and a light touch, which is incredibly fresh. And I hope you'll continue working in this medium. There was another drawing of yours I think I gave honorable mention to, which I really carefully considered for the top 3. And that one, the digital image was poor and I couldn't see it as well, but I could see how nicely drawn it was. But in this particular piece, you have achieved something here which isn't easy to pull off. It's very easy with a still life to have the objects feel very heavy and static. Sometimes that's what one wants in a still life. But in this particular drawing, still life of grays and browns, you've composed the elements well, and it keeps the viewer's eye moving around the drawing. The viewer first moves into the piece through the use of perspective in what I believe is an element of fabric in the bottom left corner. The pencil in the composition, you have a pencil sort of toward the right. It also serves to move the viewer's eye around the other objects. You have a nice contrast of straight lines and curves, large and small objects, positive and negative spaces. And you've used your signature well as an element of the drawing in a way that helps to balance out the composition. As an artist, I personally always think about the signature, how large it is, what color it is, where it is in the composition, because it is an element of the composition, and it's always a good thing to think about. I also like the way you've let some of the paper show through in the objects themselves with just little bits of the color. It's probably Conti, I assume. And you can see that you really can see the hand of the artist, the energy and how you've drawn the objects. And that's part of what keeps it so fresh. It really maintains a light and airy feel, and it's terrific. And so congratulations. And finally, I'd like to discuss the photograph by Stephanie Jenshev. And if I'm pronouncing anybody's name wrong, please forgive me. The photograph is called Little Love. And I adore this photograph. And it's amazing because this is a photograph that could have absolutely not worked. Stephanie took subject matter, which in many photographers' hands could easily become cutesy or cliched. A cute child in a gingham shirt holding a handful of hearts. I mean, it's such Americana, right? And yet, Stephanie managed to elevate this subject matter to something pretty magical. It's a very well composed photograph with the child not taking up the whole space. There's a lot of really nice negative space around the figure. There are horizontal and vertical lines that the figure is standing in front of, and they both lead you right into the figure. And a lot of that negative space, which is very neutral, also helps you to zoom in. And even the boy's arms, which are like this, if you think about it, they're both angles that take you right into the face, and where he's holding the hearts in his little gesture. And all that negative space around the boy really lets the figure breathe. And so it doesn't feel crowded or tacky. You can really focus on the boy's face and his interaction with those little red hearts. The hearts themselves suggest flower petals, and in conjunction with the boy's kissing or blowing gesture, they give movement to the photograph. And so it's amazing. It was amazing to me how something that really could have been such a cliche, to repeat myself, wound up being really magical. And so bravo to Stephanie, and congratulations. And the last thing I would like to say, although there are only awards truly for the top three, I do kind of want to single out Melissa Huerta's piece, Red Drapery, because I loved it so much and I really wanted there to be a top four. It was right up there with me and I just had to choose. And it was a very hard choice. But I think it's a wonderful, wonderful piece, and I hope you'll be very proud of it, because I'm proud of you. I think it's fantastic. So I thank you all for trusting me with your artwork. It was a wonderful experience. I feel somewhat as if I know some of you through the work that you do. And it's just been a privilege to spend time with all of it. And I hope you'll really keep up the good work. If you have any questions, feel free to direct them to Suzanne. I don't know if you asked them to me now, but feel free to direct them to Suzanne if need be, and she can always forward me something. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joyce. At this point, I would like to invite our winners up to the stage when I call their names so that I can hand them the envelope with their award letter in it. We're going to start with the honorable mentions tonight. And while we hadn't planned on an honorable mention prize, we did end up having 7, and we are going to provide a $100 scholarship to each of the 7 honorable mention winners. First is Jenna Grimm for Snow Prints. Is Jenna here tonight? I don't think she is. Okay. So Melissa Huerta for Red Drapery. Is Melissa here tonight? Elizabeth Kennedy. And this is for Out of the Blue. Next is Zoel Karlovic. Is she here tonight? And we did just post stickers underneath with the awards underneath the pieces in the gallery. So you guys will be able to walk back through after the award ceremony and take a look, so you can put the names of the pieces with the particular piece. So make sure you do that before you leave tonight. And then we have Colin McCarthy. Is Colin here tonight? His piece was Always on Watch. Then we have Anna Richardson. The Modest is Still Life. And finally, for the honorable mentions, we have Shelby Schaffnitz. And her piece is titled Congratulations. Our third place award goes to Stephanie Jenshev, and that will be a $200 scholarship. Is she here this evening? Yes, she is. I'm sorry.
That's okay, thank you.
Our second place award goes again to Anna Richardson. She'll be receiving a $300 scholarship. And finally, the first place award goes to Yulila Nimmer, and she will be receiving a $400 scholarship. These awards were generously provided through the Coda Visual Arts Scholarship. And I'd like to not only congratulate all of our winners, but also all of the students who were accepted into the show and everyone who took the time to prepare their work to enter into the show, all 114 pieces of it. I think that really shows your dedication, and you guys are why we're here and why we do what we do. So let's give everybody a big round of applause. And my next thank you to everyone who came out to celebrate our students tonight, and all of their hard work. We hope you can stay and enjoy some refreshments, which we're going to be putting out shortly, have a conversation, and take another walk through the gallery so that you can put those awards with pieces that they reflect. All right, thank you. And let's give another round of applause for our juror, Joyce, as well.